Colts Nation, hold your horses. What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, I wanted to bring another hold your horses when I talk about Sauce Gardner, because a lot of people, they have some opinions about Sauce Gardner, and a lot of people are bringing some, negativity towards Sauce Gardner right now and what he is hoping to accomplish. But before we do that, just want to say, again, this episode is sponsored by FanDuel. Guys, right now the Colts are betting favorites to win the AFC South. I believe the latest odds were minus 450. So if you guys are thinking the Colts are going to win the AFC South, or if you think somebody else is going to come by and snipe it, take advantage of that right now. Also, guys, be sure to like this video. It helps the algorithm. It helps it reach more people. And please be sure to subscribe. We're finding out that 42% of people who watch our videos are not subscribed to us. I mean, that's a lot of people. So we would really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell button over there by the subscribe button. So that way, whenever we upload or whenever we go live, you won't miss a video anytime we upload. So thank you again. Let's get to this video. All right. I have to take an understanding here. I got to tell people to hold their horses, okay? We already knew that a lot of people are thinking that Sauce Gardner was brought here for too much money, or for too much draft capital, I guess I should say. And then, of course, he had his first game against the Atlanta Falcons, going up against Drake London and a few other people. Of course, when talking about this particular play, we saw the stats when Sauce Gardner was matched up with Drake London. There were 10 matchups, and there were 4 targets for Drake London and Sauce Gardner. Only 2 receptions. I'm fairly certain that one of those receptions was the 2-point conversion that they got at the end of the game. That was one where Gardner tripped over himself and Drake London got him on that one. And then I'm not entirely sure what the other rep was. I think it might have been the touchdown that Drake London got over Jermaine Pratt that was also Gardner's responsibility. I could be wrong. It could have been another reception somewhere, and honestly, I might be wrong. But nevertheless, only gave up 2 receptions for 26 yards for Drake London against Sauce Gardner. Now, obviously, when you talk about this stat line, I don't know how anyone looks at that and says, oh yeah, Sauce Gardner didn't play well. Sauce Gardner almost had an interception in that game anyways as well. Somebody tweeted it. Shout out to Joel Morgan, and he posted a tweet with Sauce Gardner covering receivers during the Falcons game this last week. And he basically said, playing corner in the NFL is tough because one bad rep can go viral while no one cares about your great ones. This is a Sauce Gardner tweet, which is very true. I saw casuals. I will call them casuals because if you actually watched the game and you come away with the conclusion that Sauce Gardner was trash in that game because you saw one clip where Sauce Gardner got beat on one rep, then I don't know what to tell you. You're a casual. You are a casual. And you need to hold your horses on passing judgment on somebody. And honestly, I'm not even talking to them. I'm talking to the people who are on the mends about this. People who are like, how do I really feel about Sauce Gardner being here? I have my concerns. I have all these. I don't know if this game really begs the opportunity for me to want to join the bandwagon. I'm talking to you here. Hold your horses on passing judgment, okay? Because listen to this, okay? Sauce Gardner started out this last week getting prepared to play the Browns. Because remember, he was on the Jets earlier in the week. He was studying game film on the Browns. Even still on Tuesday, was not being prepared for it. and then gets traded to Indy Tuesday afternoon. So it's almost the middle of the week. Gets traded, has to go on a flight to Indianapolis Tuesday night, and gets into Indianapolis Tuesday. And then on Wednesday is when he's at practice for the first time as an Indianapolis Colt. This all happened in a span of about almost 24 hours. He barely has anything with him. He doesn't have his family. He doesn't have anything with him other than a few clothes and people telling him a million different things, and had to go from watching film on the Browns to then watching film on the Falcons during practices that week. So he only practiced Wednesday and Thursday because remember, the Colts left for Germany on Friday, which is usually an extra day that they have to practice, but they didn't get that this week with him. So he had to learn an entirely new playbook and study film on a team he was not prepared to do that for during the week. He had to stay 2 to 3 hours after team practices this week to acclimate to the playbook. And then with all of that happening, it's already hard enough being traded and then having to move 8 or 9 hours away from where you are currently living to then having to play here and learn a new system, learn a new this, all this different stuff, all the while having to also fly to another country to have to play a football game. So all of that happening, and then only to give up 2 receptions for 26 yards against the best pass catcher that the opposing team has. And he's a really good pass catcher, by the way. So let's just understand that Sauce Gardner was learning all of this on the fly. He learned everything he learned this week and barely had any time to rest. He said, honestly, he said in his introductory media day on Thursday, because he had cleared protocol on Thursday and he was allowed to speak with the media after practices. And he said, honestly, I haven't slept much in the last 48 hours. So he said, I'm actually feeling excited about being able to take a flight to Germany and get some rest. So, I mean, just think about that, guys. Think about that. This is a situation where the Indianapolis Colts and Sauce Gardner specifically, you had a lot going up against you. You had a lot of different things changing this week. And to still go out there and perform with your new team and look the part still, that's a job well done. Now, am I going to insinuate that Sauce Gardner is going to become elite? I'm not going to insinuate that. But hold your horses on passing judgment for 1 week. Okay? Now, he is back in Indianapolis this week, and they have a bye. And they have next week to prepare for Kansas City. So he has 2 weeks to get prepared, to study more film, to learn more about the scheme, to be able to watch actual film against Kansas City and prepare, move more of his stuff to Indianapolis, where he has already said it's closer to his home than where he was previously. So this is the time where Sauce Gardner is able to really pull it in. You know, he's going to have that bye week comes at a great time for him, because after an international flight to another country to play a football game, and now all of a sudden you still have stuff that you need to move all your stuff over to where you're going to be living and adjusting to this new job and this new lifestyle and all these new places. I mean, now the bye week is coming at a great time for Sauce Gardner, because now he has time to be able to actually do all that stuff. And obviously he's going to have help. And obviously the boys, he's loving being with the boys already. So just give him a little bit more time and give him a chance to, maybe win you over a little bit more if you're still on the fence. I have a feeling that over the next few weeks, Sauce Gardner is going to look even better, because he did that on less than a week's prep with a new team and a new scheme and new film. And so if he could do that against the Atlanta Falcons, I'd like to think with some more time he can do that against almost anybody. So that's going to do it for this one. But all I have to say is hold your horses, guys. Give this guy a chance. Give this guy a chance. Let him do something. Let him get his feet under him. Because he still hasn't fully gotten his feet under him yet. But that's going to do it for this one. Hold your horses. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. Shout out to FanDuel. And as always, Colts.